How about this? How about I promise you this?
What's your premise?
10 years from now, I'm still going to be rich.
I'm rich, you're poor.
And you're still going to be clout chasing off a body. Me and my wife don't believe in God and we still got married. Seems like that's kind of confusing to some people.
For the business strat. That's why you guys got married.
No, because we wanted to celebrate.
No, you guys talked about it. When you got married, you guys talked about, hey, imagine we destroy the sanctity of the Bible. That was a satanic demoralization, alchemic ritual.
I like the way that you're thinking. Because, yeah, I don't believe in God. And maybe what better way to spit in the face of God than to get married and then let her fuck a large man.
Welcome back to Scandalous Los Angeles TV, where we expose the exposers and edify through entertainment. Today, we're taking another look at Satanic Adam22. If you've been following the channel, you already know we've been keeping a close eye on him. One thing that's always stood out is how his conversations seem to change depending on who's sitting across from him. When he has his black co-hosts or guests on, he often steers the discussion toward drama, conflict, or internet beef. But in a recent interview with Swamp Stories, the conversation took a different turn. After Swamp Stories' identity became public, Adam was quick to bring him onto the show. A lot of people had been wondering who Swamp Stories really was, and Adam clearly wanted to be the first to introduce him to his audience. As the interview goes on, they cover a wide range of topics. Eventually, the discussion shifts to the war in Palestine. During that exchange, Adam shares his perspective in a way that, at least in my opinion, reveals exactly where he stands. Now, for most people, that won't come as a surprise. But with Adam, there's almost always another layer to what he's saying. He has a way of framing conversations and presenting ideas that can leave viewers questioning what they just heard. Whether you see that as strategy, manipulation, or simply his interviewing style is up to you. So we're going to break it all down, piece by piece. Like I said before, we're doing an Adam22 marathon, and this is just the latest chapter.
I think they are right that they need to basically destroy their enemies in order to be safe.
I disagree.
Because I just think that the threat is so gigantic that people can't even comprehend it.
With great power comes great responsibility. Israel is so much more powerful, even just by proxy of having America and other European countries that'll do anything it says.
But without us, Israel's not that powerful compared to Iran and this whole fucking...
Oh, okay. If you were to say that, but with great power comes great responsibility. You can't over-assert. Like defending yourself is one thing, but over-asserting dominance, there's a reason the whole world is pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, okay, like, if somebody breaks into my house and if
somebody breaks in your house and you bomb their mom's house, that's not self-defense.
But I think Israel at some point figured out along the way that if we just like get bombed and then we bomb them back and maybe we do it like 3 or 4 times as much as they did, they're still just going to keep coming back over and over and over and over. And so really what we have to do is we have to fuck them up and destroy them so much that they can't come back.
I don't know.
But that is so not palatable to the outside world.
I believe in diplomacy.
Yeah.
Because your assumption is that these countries around them are just erratic and evil, which I don't buy. Don't buy. Don't buy.
Adam's basic argument seems to be this. If we only respond with a proportional military strike, they'll eventually come back and attack again. So the only way to stop the Palestinian threat is to hit them so hard that they can no longer continue fighting. Swamp Stories pushes back on that point. He argues that Adam is making a broad assumption about the people and countries surrounding Israel, that they're all erratic and evil. Then you see Adam's reaction and body language, and in my view, it suggests that he agrees with that characterization. This is where I think Adam's messaging gets complicated. On one hand, he presents himself as someone who's speaking out against evil. On the other hand, he has publicly embraced provocative imagery and statements, such as saying he has pledged his life to Satan, and that he was embracing a life of evil.
You know what? A life of evil is for me.
Understandable.
I pledge my life to Satan.
Here is a man who dedicates his life to evil, who openly pledges allegiance to Satan. Yet in his mind, he is righteous enough to call for the annihilation of entire populations, accusing them of that same evil. That is the horrifying hypocrisy and the pure narcissism driving this man.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that Lebanon's an evil country.
This is the Israeli Minister of National Security. Have you read this shit? Let me read it to you. For every terror of an Israeli mother, 1,000 Lebanese mothers must weep. All of Lebanon must burn. With all due respect to the Americans, Israel must make it clear to the entire world that the blood of our sons and the security of our citizens are not forfeit. All of Lebanon must burn. Our supreme duty is to protect the citizens of Israel and the soldiers of the IDF, and this commitment takes precedence over every other consideration. I told the Prime Minister, even in our private meetings, for every tear of an Israeli mother, 1,000 Lebanese must weep. Enough with the ping pong. In the Middle East, you don't win with measured responses and restraint. You need to go berserk, to obliterate, to crush the terror.
Okay, but if you look at like the polling of Palestinians and what they think about Israel, you're incapable of escaping the fact that Israel has an existential threat right there. These people want them dead.
Let me ask you something. If strangers marched into your city today, walked up to your front door claiming to be settlers, armed with guns, and told you to get out because your home now belonged to them, how would you feel?
אתה מעל החוק. לא, אני מרים את החוק מהרצפה. אני מרים את החוק מהרצפה. אתה הורס לזקנות, לסלאמה ולאנשים גדולים.
אני הורס למי שבונה שלא כחוק.
אתה לא נותן להם תחליפי. תן לי תחליפי.
גם אצלנו יש זקנות.
אני תן לי
גם
שטח.
אצלנו יש אנשים שאין להם. אז מה?
זה שכונה 44.
זה לא שכונה חוקית. זה לא נבנה כחוק.
זה
הנה איפה הצד, תראה לו את הצד שלו. בוא, תראה. בבקשה. אתה חושב שאם יהודי היה בונה בתל אביב, היה בונה בבאר שבע, בסדר, באותו רגע...
אבל אתה לא נתנת למנהל.
יש סדק.
انت اكتر واحدة الثاني لانك واحدة عنصرية.
هذا هو التهجير، هذا هو الترحيل القسري، هذا هو تطهير العقليات الانسانيين. تهور اتني، اتم تهور اتني. خليها عيلة. خليها عيلة. الوقت هيك. دكت البيان.
خليها عيلة، خليها عيلة.
حركت العقيدة بتاع التنظيم. التنظيم حركتك. لا يتكلم مملحة التنظيم يا هرجين يا بشعين. ايوه.
שטח פרטי? שטח שלך?
שטח שלכם
שטח שלך? שטח שלך?
יא אפס!
שטח שלך?
איפה מפה?
איזה כלב חמוד!
בזמן שאנחנו משלמים משכנתה 6 מיליון שקל! הם חיים פה כמו מלכים!
את בעד חיות? את אוהבת חיות?
עליהם אתה מגן!
שואב. את אוהבת חיות? שלום כלב.
תזמין לי משטרה.
חבר'ה, אתם רוצים לשחק שש?
מתיישבים יהודים, אה? זה שטח פלסטיני!
אתה פלסטיני?
מהיום פה יהודים יחיו!
היהודים הגיעו!
לא רוצה להרחיק, תן מה ככה פה! נגמר!
What we are seeing now is not new in the West Bank, but it is a major escalation. And one aspect of it is we're seeing an increase in direct war crimes. In this particular case, in the village of Tel, it's up in the north near Nablus, the settlers were the first group to attack the village. 4 Palestinians were killed. 2 Israelis, a soldier and a settler, died in the course of that incident as well. But what I think is very clear here is that whenever there is any kind of an incident like this, the response by the Israeli military and the settlers is to punish all the Palestinians. There is no accountability for Israeli settlers. And I think it's also important that we recognize that the distinction between settlers and the military, settlers and the IDF, settlers and the soldiers, these are false distinctions. You know, some of the settlers are themselves part of the Israeli military. They serve in the reserves. They are armed by the military. Many are trained by the military. They're all using U.S.-provided arms. So this distinction is not a very important one. They are all supported by the Israeli state. And what we're seeing here is a decision that they make to deliberately commit war crimes. So we're seeing collective punishment. That's one war crime of massive number of Palestinians. We're seeing attacks on hospitals where Palestinians, the hospital in Nablus and others, were attacked, and patients as well as doctors and other staff were detained, were bound. It's terrifying for patients and their families.
They are indoctrinated into the idea that Israel must be destroyed.
But if you want me dead and I have a bulletproof vest and an AR-15 and you're naked,
yeah,
are you really a threat?
When Adam says to destroy all of them, this is what it looks like. He is advocating for total annihilation, and this is the reality of what he's supporting: children starving in the streets. But it's not just about them. He also supports the destruction of anyone humanitarian enough to try and feed them.
What happens when dozens of civilian ships sail toward one of the most blockaded places on Earth, and a military force moves to stop them? That question is now being answered in real time.
Donc là, vous voyez l'interception.
You are instructed to change your course. Any further attempts to sail toward Gaza endangers your safety and places you within an active war zone. If you continue on your route and attempt to breach the naval blockade, we will stop your vessel and act to confiscate it through legal proceedings in court. You bear full responsibility for your actions.
We have 30 people on the boat that got attacked by drones and explosions, and we are talking about a war crime in international waters here in Europe, and we were about to sail to break the siege towards Gaza.
This is the Global Sumud Flotilla, a convoy of 54 vessels carrying humanitarian aid including food, medicine, and baby formula.
Guys, this is an emergency. We need everyone to contact the Malta government right now. At 12:30 a.m., our ship, the Freedom Flotilla, was attacked by 2 drones.
On board, more than 460 activists from 45 different countries. Their goal: to challenge the naval blockade and deliver supplies directly to Gaza.
Israel's national security minister has drawn a sharp rebuke from his boss and triggered a backlash abroad after he released videos taunting detained activists from a flotilla that tried to reach Gaza. National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir told the detained activists that they should be imprisoned for a very long time. Ben-Gvir released the videos of himself walking among some of the approximately 430 detainees. One video shows activists with their hands tied behind their backs, kneeling with their heads touching the floor.
השר, איפה אנחנו נמצאים?
אנחנו נמצאים בכלא קציעות, וכמו שהבטחתי, אותם אנשי משט, תומכי טרור, נמצאים כאן בכלא ביטחוני, אירוע משחקים. הם מקבלים כאן תנאים של מחבלים לכל דבר, טרנינגים של מחבלים, תנאים של מחבלים, זאת אומרת, יש מינימום של המינימום, ככה הבטחתי וככה אנחנו מקיימים.
עכשיו בואו ניכנס, נראה אותם.
Barbaric, cruel regime must be disbanded. The United States and Germany are funding it 100% with the backing of England, France and all the Western governments who are a white menace, spreading pestilence and violence wherever they go.
We've been beaten, tortured, systematically, dehumanized, and you know, we've just had a little taste of what the Palestinians go through every day, you know, some for years in detention. So.
From when we were intercepted, we were met with such levels of violence. Our boats were shot at. And from the moment that we entered the prison ship to touching down in occupied Palestine, we were violated in all different manner of ways. And the fact that Israel would do that to us, with the world on us, I can only imagine what they do to Palestinian prisoners.
We were taken to a prison boat, 3 of them I'm pretty sure. In one of the prison boats, 35 people suffered fractures to their ribs. People said there was at least 12 sexual assaults that took place. People were tased. Me personally, I was kept in cuffs where I can't feel my hands anymore. I was kicked in the ribs multiple times.
They treated him like we are under the animal. We have lots of things, reason to hate them, really.
It was a miserable process in which I encountered the most awful people I have ever met, the most relentlessly vindictive and cruel people I've ever met in my entire life. Even though people like me, you know, have political protection because of the countries we're from and the passports we're carrying, they were still willing to beat us. They broke my comrades' arms, ribs.
I'm very aware. I have white skin, blue eyes. I have a Swiss passport. They treated me much better than other passengers on board. That's white privilege. And even that, they made jokes about us and they tried to harass us. They made us lay down in the sun with our heads to the ground, kneeling for 1 hour, just to harass us and to make us feel bad. They treated us like terrorists, actually.
Yesterday night, we were shouting that someone was possibly having a heart attack. They didn't come, they didn't care. They gave us food that was infested with insects. They subjected some people to torture. One of my friends has just passed out, fainted on the plane because of the exhaustion that they subjected her to. This is how Israel behaves towards Europeans. You can only imagine how it treats Palestinians every single day.
I was unlucky enough to get out just while Ben-Gvir was coming. And so the police used very, very tight handcuff on us that stopped our circulation. They blindfolded us and they put us in a van with barely any clothes and with very, very low temperature. So high conditioning that was freezing. And they kept us there for probably 3 hours.
But they do maintain being a threat. You know, they look at October 7th, which again, it's what was it, 1,000 people got killed? Really not that bad.
1,300.
You know, it's scary as fuck, but really not that bad in comparison to what they did.
That would be like if 50,000 Americans died.
Yeah.
So it was a big attack, but I don't want to get too off topic of the interview, but
yeah. No, I mean, I'm someone who has always been pretty sympathetic to Israel.
This, right here, is the most significant part of everything Satanic Adam has said. Because we are living in a bizarro world where a man claims he pledged his life to Satan, but in the same breath says he's always been sympathetic to Israel. That is the coldest mind game I can think of. He admitted, out of his own mouth, that he wanted to spit in the face of the God of Israel.
Yeah, I don't believe in God, and maybe what better way to spit in the face of God?
By letting his wife sleep with another man. He actually said that, but simultaneously claims to be sympathetic to Israel. It makes you wonder, right? So I asked ChatGPT, is Satan sympathetic to Israel? Look at what it said. No. According to mainstream Christian and Jewish theology, Satan is not sympathetic to Israel. Instead, theological views characterize Satan as an adversary or tempter rather than an ally. Christian view. Mainstream Christian interpretation holds that Satan is actively hostile toward Israel. Scriptural passages, such as Revelation 12, are often interpreted to mean that Satan seeks to oppose and destroy the Jewish nation and thwart divine plans. Again, I have to ask, what is actually going on here? We've established that Satan is the absolute opposite of sympathetic toward Israel. So how can this man claim he has dedicated his life to Satan and wants to spit in the face of the God of Israel, while simultaneously claiming to be sympathetic to Israel? Maybe there's something else going on that makes a man who worships Satan feel linked to Israel. I guess we'd have to ask Satanic Adam that question.
I really want to know why people, think you the devil.
Because he is.
And then they got Superman haircut.